Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Welcome to my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives. I'm Debi, your certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root cause of their health and mindset issues and create a custom natural holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. As a health coach, I'm not allowed to say that I heal, treat, cure, prevent, or diagnose any diseases. I can certainly make your body more efficient by reducing symptoms. You'll feel better, be more productive, and enjoy life more. Not many people have released 70 pounds, had a health and mindset transformation, and kept fit and trim for over a decade. That slide needs to be bigger. There you go. That's better. And it's actually been over 12 years. I even became a half marathon runner at the age of 51 when I never ran from childhood to adulthood due to foot pain. And I have done 9 half marathons so far. Mindset is the key to lasting change. As a certified holistic health coach, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health and mindset. You can go to the next slide. And I guide them to clean, toxin-free foods and high-quality essential nutrients. My coaching is for optimizing your health, whatever that may be, releasing weight efficiently when needed, and enhancing your mindset. With my clients, I help them recognize that their thoughts, feelings, and emotions drive their actions and results. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. That's why it's crucial to have a positive mindset in life. Whoops, too soon. And okay, crucial to have a positive, you know what, go back to my slide. Crucial to have a positive mindset in life. And also, it's important to manage your emotions and release those low vibrational emotions such as fear, frustration, and doubt, because all that's going to do is slow you down and get you stuck. And that's going to get you stuck physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Like a hot air balloon that has ballasts. I help my clients release those emotional ballasts and baggage so they can uplift to a better, happier, healthier life. And in turn, they're getting healthier, they're releasing stress, and they're reshaping their core beliefs. You'll see and feel the differences with my coaching programs. Ask me about them. Set up a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives. That is DebiChangesLives, LIV as in victory, ES.com/Linktree, LINKTREE. Or you can use that QR code, and I'll guide you to that better, happier, healthier life with custom, natural, holistic solutions unique to you in the areas of mind, body, and soul. Okay, today I am honored to have as my guest Cathy Holt, founder, CEO of Cathy Holt's Coaching. We can show her slide. Cathy is a women's leadership strategist. Now, Cathy has noticed that most accomplished women are the best kept secret in the room. She changes that. She actually helps high achieving women to translate that expertise into influence so they become impossible to overlook. Now, Cathy's a great illustrates how not only is she not being overlooked, she has all these accomplishments, so she's not going to be overlooked. She has published a book called The Unstoppable Woman, Owning Our Voices and Leading Change. She also, you can go to the next slide, hosts a TV show called Holt Talks the Lead, which is on the next slide, and has received the award of Solidarity from the Mission Accepted MIDI 262 Women's Project. All this sprouted from advocating for women internationally and at UN meetings, proving exactly how influence and power are earned strengthened, and sustained. We'll be discussing brilliance without burnout, the key to true influence, ease, and wholeness. So let's welcome Cathy Holt, the founder CEO of Catherine Holt's Coaching, and so much more, obviously. Cathy, welcome to my show.
So much, Debbie. I am so thrilled that we've met and we've been on Zoom, just getting to know each other. And you are definitely one of the leaders that would be in my book of Unstoppable Women. So thank you for including me in your world, because I feel honored.
Well, I feel honored that you're on my show too. I mean, all the information I found out from you at that one meeting, and then reading some of the questions that were going to come up, I didn't know about something. But, we all take it on the chin, and keep on going. So that's the most important thing, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the key characteristics of women, because we've lived in a world that has very specific ideas about what women should and shouldn't do. And it's getting better, but there's still a lot that needs to be changed. And so when, we're told to stay quiet or not dream big, it takes that extra effort and that extra energy to say, no, I'm not going to listen to that. I am going to be the best, most authentic person I can be and use my strengths to influence change. And I think you said something about mindset. That's a mindset that we all really need to adopt, because women, as I go through in my book, the characteristics that are leadership characteristics nowadays, it's not that old curmudgeon barking orders, control and command. It's somebody who can build teams, who can communicate, who reads the room and figures out who isn't really participating 100% and who is, and how to coax that person to be their best selves. That's what women do. We do it all the time. So, So I think that's, that is where changing our own lives so that we can change others.
Yeah. And, when I commit to something, I commit to it. So that's the way I am. That's why I've been so strong in keeping my weight off. So what can I say? I didn't want to go through that again.
Well, exactly. And as we evolve, what happens with a lot of women, especially, if they're entrepreneurs or even in the workplace, is as they evolve, the world doesn't accompany their changes. So they're not perceived at their new high level. They're still perceived as what they were. So it's very important for women to really speak up and position themselves so that people know what they can offer, what transformation can they create for others, for an organization, for other people, because we grow. And that's thankful we grow and that we stick with different things.
Exactly. And I'm always growing and learning. But, you actually lived an extraordinary life, from the international work that I kind of mentioned before and political arenas. But then you had to rebuild everything after your daughter's stroke. Oh, that's hard, just, hurts my heart when I heard that. But there's a through line through all this. Can you explain that?
I think the through line is that, and it started really when I was just a little girl, like about 10 years old. I tell the story that I told everybody I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Didn't really know what it was, but it sounded really nice. And I wanted to know more about the brain. And I told everybody, and I kept hearing, oh, that's nice, honey, but that's not for girls. And I'm like, even back then I was like, why not? Why can't it be for girls? I'm going to show you. And so that, I think, is the through line. Is not, I do it for myself, obviously, but I also do it to show that we are capable of anything if we set our mind to it and if we identify what that thing is. So that, I liken it to, so many women are like a flashlight, kind of shining their light everywhere. And what we need to do based on who we are, what we believe, what our passion is, what transformation we can create, we need to be a laser beam. And so that's kind of the way I I've done it in a lot of different careers, but when I got into something, I was in politics. I taught in the university in women and gender studies. I've been in boardrooms. I've written legislation. But every time I chose to do something, I became, or I tried to become, and had many women helping me and coaching me to become that laser beam in whatever I was doing. Doesn't mean I didn't, you can change. That's an option we have every day, to, do I still want to do this, or do I want to change a little bit? But the through line has always been women, showing that women can do it. And then, trying different things and getting different experiences that have led me to where I am today. And that's what I want to share with other women, so they don't have to maybe go through some of the heartache or the challenges. They can figure out their ways around it better or more quickly.
Yeah, and that's what coaching is all about, and that's what you offer is what women strategists, coaching, and being with your background, you've seen it all probably, and so you can really give some insights to a lot of people. So I am really happy that you could be here today. Now,
Thank you.
So many women feel that they have to choose to being successful or at peace. Is that actually true?
I don't consider that the trade-off we have to make. I think that whatever we define our success at, because we do have to define it for ourselves. We can't let others define it for us. And if you define that for yourself, if you're doing it, then that should bring joy. It should be, you work smarter because you know exactly what lane you want to be in. And so rather than working harder and getting distracted by I call it all the shiny things, what you want to, what your dream is and how you want to get there and how you want to influence or impact those around you. So I don't see it as a trade-off. I see it as something that should be interconnected.
And you're very right about that, because, sometimes in life we're just put into some stress you unexpectedly don't expect, right? And it's really how you handle that. And not letting it get in your way. And in our reality, when you commit to doing something and you don't want to and it didn't go quite the way you wanted, as long as everything turned out to be successful, or you actually got the job accomplished, that's all that really matters. I keep on telling people, when you are improving your health, sometimes it's like little teeny steps to get there. And, sometimes it can be grains of, sand in an hourglass, but they do build up over time. And that's when I talk about gratitude, right? So, and just be aware of all that you are making improvement. You're on that path and you're on that trajectory. It's going to take time, or, and maybe you'll have some time where it's going to go a lot faster. So you need to stay in that positive mindset, cherish every little treasure of every little step that you've accomplished. And
I agree totally. I think that's so true. And, sometimes, like you said, sometimes it'll be slow and incremental, and sometimes it will just take off. But you just have to really be present in where you are and still know where you want to go, so that it's like, sometimes it's like climbing a mountain. It's just a step until you finally get there. But I think the important idea here is that you need to be the one to define that. And because that's when we're told, well, I know when I'm told I have to do something, I'm like, oh, really? I'm not sure. Let me think about it. And I might end up saying, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But at the same time, it might be, I have to use my filters of what I want to do, who I am, what do I value, to really say yes or no to something, and that gives us the information. And, as far as the setbacks, I know I have learned more in the setbacks than sometimes when I'm cruising on autopilot, because I have to stop, I have to think, I have to reevaluate, I have to reflect. And that to me is precious. And, when you're in the middle of it, it's not so fun, but when you can look back on it, you think, wow, boy, did I learn some really incredible things when I was going through that.
Yeah, they're all learning moments, you know.
Mhm.
You did something, oh, it didn't quite work out. Oh, what can I do to do something better?
Right.
And, you know, when you're on a path, that commitment is so important and you don't want to lose that. So you just want to say, okay, that's that. I move on.
Mhm.
Let's try something else.
Yeah. And I think that commitment was very important. I was talking to an entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur this morning about that it has to be a commitment to self.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably the most important commitment. Now, sometimes that you get distracted. That when my daughter had her stroke, I had to kind of stop everything, pause, and be there to support her in her journey.
Mm-hmm.
But I still had a commitment to my well-being and where I wanted to go. I just had to pause the action steps, not the commitment. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Because that dream is always there. Just
Mhm.
keep on moving toward it. So that's how I feel about it as well.
Yeah.
Um, Now, sometimes women feel like they're doing all the right things and they're putting their best self forward, but yet they don't quite get the recognition of opportunities coming at them. What do you think about what's going on there?
Well, I think a lot of that is about positioning. I really, especially having worked in politics, I felt like I lived it too, but worked in politics, I learned that it's not just what you know and who you know, it's positioning those things in such a way that people listen, hear you, and take you more seriously. And
Mm.
I think that what happens is sometimes we get caught up in this visibility, 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 but visibility without strategic positioning is just noise. And we really have to know how to shift. It's part of the equation, but we have to know how to shift from that visibility to the positioning ourselves as the expert, the go-to, the one people want to choose. And that's part of the work I do with women because, just being visible, it's good, but it's not enough. It's not, that's not going to get you into the influential places or having the impact you want to have.
So, how do you guide them to the right visibility choices for them? Do you do
Well,
that?
that's part of actually, the program that I have. It's a 4-month program that I work with women because, each environment that they're living in or pursuing has different strategies to make themselves known. But one of the first things that it's true for everybody is being super clear. I mean, just radically clear on who you are, what's your strengths, and where do you want to go with them? That dream thing. But
Mm-hmm.
also recognize sometimes we do things that other people think are extraordinary, but we're like, oh, really? No, I thought everybody did that. I mean, we all do that but we are doing some extraordinary, brilliant things. And when we start recognizing and identify those brilliance, then we can start making sure we use it and we use it in that positioning of how to, who do you talk to? When do you talk? Is speaking in one event worth the time and energy, or should you be putting your energy elsewhere? So we kind of keep on that path that you define that you want to go on.
Okay, that's fabulous. Um, Now, what does it look like when a woman finally steps to who she has become? Can you share a story regarding that?
Yes, I can actually. I've got several, but one that I just gives me chills because it was such a transformation was a woman that I worked with who is she's not a was, she is it is. Um she's in Africa, but she is a big community organizer and grassroots organizer. And she was the kind of woman that everybody relied upon.
Mm.
And when we worked together, she worked in caregiving, and she started doing her work during the AIDS epidemic. So it's been a long time that she's been at it. But the way she was, we looked at her expertise, we looked at her strengths, what does she do well, and then used them and put her in. She was just staying local, all this incredible wisdom and experience and um, problem solving, creative problem solving, was staying local. And so
Okay.
we looked at how can we expand that, because expanding that not only got her on bigger stages, but it
Mhm.
also got donors. It got more support from other people. She was able to get a hospital to come and create, like a mini clinic in her village because of her positioning. And now she's considered the expert on community level and grassroots caregiving, because they have such incredibly creative solutions. And she's invited to speak at United Nations meetings all the time on caregiving, because we were able to show people her brilliance, not just at the initial level she was working at, but at other levels, so that she could have a bigger impact. It wasn't for her ego, because she's the most, she's just such a humble person, but she has so much to share, and she's sharing it with other women and other groups around the world now. And to me, that's what we need to be doing as women. We are brilliant, and we need to let that shine and share it with others.
You know what? You're right about that. There's so many things that everybody has, they're more than nuggets, but you get my point. They have chapters in their life they can just share, um, and make life so much better for everybody else.
Yeah,
You know,
you
if it,
sharing your story and share,
yeah,
that is, you don't really even, we don't even always know how many people it really has helped, because of that ripple effect. We help one person, that person helps another, but we have to be that catalyst,
yes.
and accept that I view it, for me, it's my responsibility to be a catalyst, because I'm in a position that I can do that. And
Mhm.
so it's just part of my dream and my passion.
Okay. Well, it's a really great dream and passion, by the way. Now, now you shared this nice story in Africa. Can you share a story of a woman you worked with who learned to put her best self forward, even though life was throwing a whole bunch of challenges her way?
Well, I have several clients that have done that, but I also reflect back on my daughter. I mean,
Yeah.
she was you know, she participated in the Junior Olympics in her sport, and then had a stroke and couldn't move her left side, and had to, learn how to walk, learn how to do everything. And
What sport was she in?
she was 3-day eventing, which is an equestrian sport. It's
Oh
kind of like a
wow.
triathlon for horse and rider.
Yeah, I know, I know.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But, she, yes, did it slow her down? Yes, because she had to go to rehab, and, she even went to California for 2 years to rehab with somebody who was a specialist in what she needed. But, she didn't let it stop her. She graduated from college. She went on to grad school. She works, in New York City, and lives in New York City, which is her dream. And, so that is, and granted, that's not my official coaching position, but I had to be there for her to show her some of these things or these nudges sometimes, or how could she handle something that, because being having physical limitations, or any kind of disability that's not as obvious, um, people make assumptions. And how could she navigate those assumptions? How could she navigate that environment, so that she could still share her brilliance, and be who she is, contribute to the things she wanted to change, and also do it feeling good about herself.
Is she okay now, or is she like,
Yeah. She's, she does walk with a slight limp and can't use her left arm or hand, but she's a communications expert in digital media and all that other stuff. So, she's doing really, really well. And she loves living in New York City. She's definitely an urban dweller, and, she's making her life there.
that's fantastic. She didn't let her situation, her health situation, stop her from what, and you help aid her on that path,
Yeah.
saying, you can do this. You just, you'll be doing it in a different way.
Mhm,
Because
mhm.
I don't know if she doesn't have use for one arm, she does have the use of the other. So
Right, exactly. And use what you've got and make the, do as much as you can with it. So that's a little outside of, I've coached women that have gone through other different traumas, but to me, that is just being able to be part of her journey and having input in her journey when she needed to have my coaching, was really probably one of the greatest journeys I've been on.
it's interesting. I don't know why this popped in my head. My brother passed away, but he was pretty brilliant at times. He actually developed something for handicapped people that were paralyzed. It was a thing that you put on your head that would help switch channels.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like way in the I guess in the early 2000s. And
Well, he was a pioneer for sure.
Yeah. And when he told me that, I was like, that's really cool. And I'm sure there's other things that will come along that will help these people that have, like, to help them with one limb or whatever, to make it better, whether it's different things that help bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
I may know some things like that, but it may take a journey for that to happen.
Right.
My whole point, everyone is different. You just don't know. You know what I mean? And you don't know how far that health condition went either. So, but I always look for possibilities. I'm a person that, I never thought, you heard my story. I couldn't even, it was painful for me to walk, so let alone to run.
Yeah.
And I did it. I was given a label.
Absolutely.
And so I never even tried. And so
Absolutely.
I was like feeling better, and I'm like, oh, and I eased up 5, 10, 15 minutes until I got up to 40 or 50 minutes running on a treadmill.
Uh-huh.
So anything is possible. Sometimes you just need to rip that label off and move forward. But it doesn't need to be a health condition. It could be other type of, labels.
Right. Well, she even, I was, after kind of supporting her through her process of rehabilitation, and having, in the meantime, went through a divorce and some other things. And I was getting back into the world. A friend of mine called me and said, the Maldives needs somebody to do voter education for them. And because they're having their first multi-candidate presidential election, because before it was a dictator, so it was just one candidate. Do you want to do that? And I was like, well, I've worked in politics. I was working at that time about 17 years. I did some voter education, but I did lobbying. I did grassroots organizing. I did all kinds of things. And at first I was like, I don't know. And then I thought about it probably for about 24 hours. And I thought, what the heck? Why not? So I think part of life, and I did go, and my daughter went too, because the woman that I was working with was doing media. She was trying to transform the TV and radio station from being state run to more of a public access, like NPR or one of those format. And so my daughter went as an intern. Now here she's, gone through a stroke. She has some limitations, but she said yes also to going off to the halfway around the world to the Maldives for almost 3 months to do this. And so I think part of it also is what I'm getting at, I guess, is that fear can be one of the biggest things that hold us back. And that's kind of what you said. You had an identity, a label that said, oh, I can't do that. And we have to break through those and see if an opportunity really resonates with your dreams or your passion. Don't let the fear hold you back. Find a way to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot of fear. A lot of people are in fear mode and thinking X, Y, Z is not possible when it could possibly be. But it all depends on what's involved.
Yeah.
There's no reason why not to venture down that path to see if it is possible.
Sure.
And
you could always change. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can always change. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all I can tell you is it was liberating to find out I can run. And then when my friend asked me to do half marathons, I thought she was nuts. But I haven't stopped since, so I love it. But you're about to say?
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I was just going to agree with you in saying, we tend to get into fear mode, and it's not a character flaw. It's a lot of it has been also how we've been either received, treated, had labels put on us, so there's a lot of that external environment that puts pressure on us also. And so I just wanted to make sure anybody listening doesn't think that it's some kind of character flaw. It's not. It's a product of what we've lived and the things we've had to decide about or the challenges we've had to take on. And that kind of puts it in our brain so that, we do get, like you just said, in fear mode, and breaking out of that is so important for us to live a complete, full life of who we are, who we want to be, who just what we want to do in the world.
Yeah. Your subconscious mind has a tendency to just are like waves crashing on your consciousness. And you got to learn how to stop those waves as best you can. No one's perfect. That's okay. But once you start being aware, you can stop that fear and also maybe aware of your body is in fear mode. Sometimes that's obvious, but sometimes it may be just a low grade fear. So it's just being more aware of what's going on with what your body and your mind and your heart is telling you.
Yeah. And that low grade fear can also, I think that's when we get really stuck in that self-doubt and that, questioning ourselves. And instead of saying, I've lived this, I know, I'm done the work of knowing me. And, it's a accumulation of all that I can bring forward, instead of saying, ooh, I don't know. It's just, no, you've done it. You've been there. You've fallen down. You've gotten back up. So trust yourself. You can do it.
Yeah, like a toddler that falls down and gets back up and starts laughing. I mean, they don't know any better. And, and they're not letting anything stop them.
Exactly.
They're beelining for something and they want that toy.
And we were all there once. We were all there. And they do, there's all kinds of studies that do show, about measuring, when does it set in this self limitations, these self-limiting beliefs, this fear stuff. And, they've identified that it actually probably happens a little bit later in childhood. But like you just said, the toddler, the little kid just does it and goes for it. So we have to kind of reincarnate that part of ourselves and just try new things. Say yes if it resonates with who you are and what you believe in, and it's an opportunity. Try it. You can always say no later on again and say, no, I didn't like that. I'm not going to do it anymore. Okay.
Yes, very, very true. Yeah, I think it's like 5 or 7 years old.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
When you start going to school, if you think about it, because things are happening that are not that they never experienced before, and that maybe the fear starts to seep in at that time.
Yeah.
So, and while we're coaching people, there's obviously we're talking about fear. And we're also talking, a lot fear is kind of like has 30 different flavors, so to speak, or more. And you need to explain to people, well, procrastination is a fear,
Yeah. Yep.
because you're dragging your feet and things like that. So,
Yeah.
and obviously we both kind of coach in the exact same way. Now, could you talk a little bit about your show that you have?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that just really segues right into that, because when I was first offered the opportunity to host a TV show and executive produce a TV show, I was like, no, no, that's just too much. I don't, that's a big learning curve. I don't, I don't know how to do it. And, and I probably thought about it once again for about 24 hours. That seems to be my thing. I have to stop and think about it for 24 hours. And because I'm not impulsive, I'm really not impulsive. But then I thought, this so much of my mission throughout my work, throughout my life, has been to open spaces for women's voices to be heard. Whether I'm coaching women and getting them into those spaces, or helping them position themselves to get in those spaces so they are heard, or whether, it's just sometimes I'm invited to speak at some of the UN meetings, and I always bring somebody else along with me who has, real grassroots on the ground experience. And so I thought about it and I thought, this is your mission. This is part of your mission. So you are being given, once again, that opportunity all of a sudden is there, and you can't say no, because it's who you are and what you're trying to achieve. So I said yes. So anyway, what it is it's a show. It's not up yet. It should be up, or I forget how they say it, but launched or something. We're doing the interviews, but in the end of August. And what I do is I interview women leaders about their journey, about, their successes, their challenges. How did they get around them, through them, or over them, or, how did they creative problem solve, and what wisdom they've gained in that journey that they can share with other women who are listening, to either inspire or motivate them to spread their wings.
Well, that's wonderful. And it's Holt Talks the Lead. I keep on saying,
yeah, it's Holt Talks the Lead. Yeah. They kind of came up with a title, and I agreed. I mean, it wasn't that they said no, but they said, well, this kind of show, this is the kind of title it needs. So it's my name, Holt Talks the Lead. And but it's really just a platform for women to really share. So, because we don't always have opportunities. And if I don't really watch that much TV, but a lot of TV does not give women voices. And when it does, it's something that is a caricature or a stereotype or something like this. And I just want it to be more like a coffee side chat, very intimate, about what it was that women have gone through to get where they are.
I love it. I love the idea. So that's going to be a wonderful show. Now, what is your offer for my audience today?
Well, I do have it's a complimentary leadership survey, an assessment. And what it does, it takes like 3 minutes to do. And once you've done it, it gives you some results about kind of where you are right now in your leadership. What maybe some things you could start working on to close up some of the gaps, or where your leadership is leaking and not being as purposeful as it should be. So that's what it is, and it's a lot of fun. And I think women who have taken it have said just knowing the results has really helped them figure out where to focus. So, and once you take it, then there's an opportunity, if you want to set up a call with me, to just talk about your results.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, I gave it a beautiful link. So it's HTTPS:// bit.ly Cathy with a capital C, Holt with a capital H, L, leadership with a capital L, and an A for a capital for assessment. So it's all one word. And there's also a QR code if you don't want to type that in. So take her leadership, her free leadership assessment and see where you stand. I think that's a wonderful idea. And it gives you a great talking points to start your coaching with that client. Now, I really love this offer, and I want to ask you, I want to thank you first for being on my show. Would you want to be a guest again?
Oh, I would love it. Our conversations are always so insightful and so they're fun too, which is, it has to be fun, even as we're discussing some serious things.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. I'll have you back again. Now, please stick around for so you can get some closing remarks. We may have more time than we think. Okay.
All right. Sounds great.
All right. So remember, I do revitalize people's lives in many different areas of health. I start with their gut and then mindset, and I help you with either blood sugar, brain and heart, bone and joint, as well as immunity. I help people who are anxious up to athletes because I am guiding you to clean, toxic-free foods and high-quality essential nutrient products that reduce symptoms. Obviously, you're going to feel better, and possibly just like me, you may release some weight. I was on maintenance at 50 pounds, and after taking what I offer for other people, I actually released another 20, making it 70. This is going to uplift your mood. With my mindset enhancement, I help you release that stress, emotions, and emotional entanglements. I'm there while you are reshaping your own core beliefs. I'm being your sounding board, and your mindset's going to be more enhanced. With your health optimization and weight release, your body's more efficient. So that's a mind-body connection that makes the heart and soul sing. Ask me about my programs. Set a complimentary consultation at Debi Changes Lives, which is DebiChangesLives, LIV as in Victory ES.com/Linktree, LINKTREE. And you can use that QR code as well. And when you do that, you'll get to know me, I'll get to know you, and I'll guide you to your optimal health. And because of with 1 or 2 assessments. The health evaluation is actually complimentary, where you rate your systems in the last 30 days in 4 categories of health. Some questions are in multiple categories. Answer them all. You will get a baseline score. And I will review it with you. And I'll create that custom natural holistic strategy to improve your score. And we review it on a monthly basis and see your progress. I also have 2 different body scans. I prefer to do VisiraLink because I can do it remotely and internationally. VisiraLink is a transdermal optical imaging app that I send a link to your phone where you scan your face for 30 seconds. It's going directly into your skin, looking at blood flow for components of energetic, functional, emotional, and different body systems and lifestyles. The emotional component is such a hidden gem because it's connected. It's actually Chinese medicine where it connects an emotion like anger to an organ like liver. Now, it's not a diagnosis, it's a wellness report where you have biomarkers out of range at different levels and products and services that bring back into range. And I will review it with you. The cost of the scan is $75, but for this month of July until the end, I'm giving you a half price special. And you can get more information about the scan by going to that site, and you can purchase that 50% offer. And this is at Debi, DEBI, DebiChangesLives.com /0 with a capital VISERA golden voucher. You always walk in a set of appointment as well. And with this scan, it's really interesting. It is that transdermal optical imaging app, also known as TOI. It's actually very accurate. You can look up its accuracy at pubmed.gov, which is pubmed.gov. So people are really amazed what the scan tells them. So get your scan done, or at least look at that site. And my consultation site are my programs. I have several programs. One of them, you can show that. There we go. One of them is Take Your Body Back, which is a 12-week weight release mindset coaching program where you can be utilizing a new version of you for your success. All coaching is done on Zoom. The first one's always private to you because I'm a certified HIPAA health practitioner. All evaluations are private. I give you a choice between 3 programs. And I also want the natural approach to the GLP-1 with no injections or the problems that the medical model has. Once you choose a program, I give you directions I also give you instructions how to create a new version of you that's going to drive you with emotion and passion to achieve your health and weight transformation goals throughout your journey. The rest of the coaching, whether it's group or private, is the same. We'll be celebrating your wins. I'll be guiding you over guests with health and mindset tips, and you're going to be utilizing those boards and asking me questions. Now, this is on sale too. It's 20% off until the end of July. You mentioned summer, or you can go to this Take Your Body Back QR code, which is, again, that's debi.debichangeslives.com/take your body back, or go to my link tree to find it. Now, if you do yourself or why fast is for you, it's an intermittent fasting program that gets your cells and body humming and turn business through metabolism with rich, dense nutrition and high quality essential nutrients, and a program of exercises and recipes. Here you can ask me questions. And if you think you need some coaching through a 2 or 4 week program, you can pay for. And after that, if you need some coaching, you can pay for more. You can use these programs for mindset enhancement as well as health optimization. But truly, that's a longer term journey. But at least the smaller programs can give me a way of thinking about how to create a custom program that will suit you with your time and money. I'm also still offering, you can go to the next slide, Newcon, because we're talking about burnout, right? This is a great app for releasing stress, getting yourself better sleep. Obviously, you're going to relax. It gives you focus and mental clarity and helps you recover as well, and it balances your nervous system. It has been used by special ops, FBI, obviously the military, doctors, dentists, Olympians, and Special Olympians as well. And I'm offering you a 15% lifetime discount for 30 days. You go to bit.ly/Newcon, spelled with a capital N, lowercase u, capital CALM, then lifetime discount, have both capital letters, and ask me questions about it. It's a really cool app. Finally, learn more about alternative health services, products, programs, offers, upcoming shows, events, and promos by subscribing to my newsletter at DebiChangesLives.com, which is /radio TV show, all in lowercase, or use that QR code. And I give you a gift, a 30-day health and mindset daily action journal, where you can record your gratitude, thoughts, feelings, emotions, as well food as water, and supplements and exercise you do on a daily basis. You can track your measurements. Then you want to review it on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, see your wins and celebrate them, find your gaps to work on. And if you need help bridging that gap, you contact me for coaching. This journal is a great health and mindset awareness tool. I'm certain that you found this show educational, eye-opening, and enjoyed it. Reach out to me for my services, products, programs, and offers. And reach out to Cathy for her coaching and her wonderful free assessment. Do we have time to bring Cathy back?
Thank you. You are doing so much and so many great things for women to really, and actually people to kind of fine tune, their body, their mind, so that they can actually accomplish the things that that I'm talking about. I do have one quote I often close with, and that is, "You'll never get the clients, fees, or opportunities your expertise deserves until you become the obvious choice for the work you do. And when you position yourself so the right people can finally see the full power of what you bring, you stop being an option and start being the one they choose." And I fully believe that that is part of living in your zone of greatest influence and really just being the greatest person you can be. We all want to do that. That's what I think, that's what we're all put on earth to do, is to live our greatest life. So thank you so much, Debi. I've had fun as always in our conversations, and I just look forward to coming back. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. And you know what? That was so beautifully said. I got to admit, I love what you said and shared with the audience, because they got to understand that they can move forward. They can become a better you and enjoy their life and be really, helping others out as well,
Yep.
So that's the point of life, is to enjoy it and give out that helping hand. So
Exactly.
Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Continue to enjoy my radio and TV show, Debi Changes Lives, at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, where your holistic journey begins.